You pled guilty to burglary and habitation.
Yes, sir.
But you're saying today that you're not guilty of burglary and habitation because you said you weren't guilty of the crime. You just signed the papers. There you are swearing under oath that you're guilty of that crime and all lesser included offenses. Which lie are you going to tell? The one you just told me or the one under oath? You can't live with both of them. You boxed yourself in. Shame on you.
Your Honor, Mr. Nelson has tried and made an honest mistake of not reporting.
How much time?
He hasn't committed any felony or anything like that. I think that an appropriate sentence would be in the low end of the range.
There was no restitution on this burglary, right?
No.
Judge, and I have probation here with me if the court wants to hear from them.
Sure.
But
You want?
in reviewing the files, it looks like the defendant was sentenced to probation initially.
Wasn't it deferred? Or unadjudicated?
Yes, sir. A
Yeah.
deferred probation in February of 2024. In May of 2024, he was sentenced to JCDI, and he was kicked out of that program. And so then he was sent to Safe P. September of 2024, all the way till February of 2026, he did successfully complete the Safe P. But after he got out of Safe P, this probation department has yet to hear from him as far as reporting and drug
Since
testing.
when?
March 31st of 2026. He completed Safe P in February
A
5th.
long cruise or something?
No, sir. I was working 7/12. And yes, sir. I'll let my supervisor get my
Might as well have been on a cruise.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was working for Robert LNG. Bechtel.
Okay.
My
But
supervisor. I know.
I don't, yeah, there's nothing in here about you're required to attend Bechtel.
No, sir. I know. I understand.
It was
Yes,
a
sir.
report, okay.
The client had his priorities wrong.
Yeah.
You think? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sir.
Well, that's one way to get in trouble because here's the deal. What is the most important condition of probation?
Report.
Yeah, because that's supervision.
Yes, sir.
You're supervised. If you don't report, they don't. You're not on probation. You're not on mine. You're on your probation.
I don't know how much safety time he has.
So what do? I ask you, how are you going to revoke yourself? And what are you going to give yourself? You know, it just, it's laughable because the way that it works is that you have the responsibility and we supervise and you turn it around. You decide you were in control of supervision, which is only 5,000 probationers. We would be lost if they all decided they fix their own time.
Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, but this was a shoe that was going to ultimately fall, and at least you're standing up for it. What's state asking for?
And Judge, I'm asking for something. This is a second degree felony. I'm asking for something in the middle range of the punishment penalty, so something around 10 years TDC.
Okay, 10 years and stand by just one. You were on probation for a burglary of habitation.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, on probation here, we've got failure to report and failure to submit to your analysis. There's always a reason why that sort of thing happens.
He was working the 7/12s, Your Honor. I mean, he placed his responsibility in the wrong place. Once I was retired, became involved, I found out there was a warrant for his arrest and he went down and turned himself in right away.
Underlying circumstances of this are terrible.
And can I inform the court, I was just informed by the probation department that she was trying to accommodate his work schedule and he was on late night reporting and UAs.
Well, the late night reporting, I still got off later than what the late night reporting was. The only reason is my supervisor started getting my head about missing, right? Because I already done the aftercare and all that stuff. That's the only reason I let it get my head, and that's why I was not right in that. That's my fault. That's the only reason. Not because I was on drugs or anything like that. No, sir.
You were on drugs. I'm sorry.
No, I
You
said
were
no because
arrested.
ma'am, sorry.
You were when you were arrested for this burglary. They got
Yes, sir.
methamphetamine on you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, when I was
Oh, did
arrested.
somebody slip that on? Yeah, here's what's really strange is the people who were burglarized in the beginning. I mean, it's a man who suffered a stroke.
Yes, sir. Actually, that was a family friend. His ex-wife was sitting right there in the courtroom. I didn't go in the man's house.
How did you have his pills in your pocket?
They were not my.
That's what the police
No, sir,
told
that is
you.
not true at all.
That man's
They were in
pills.
the girl who I rode his car. I'm sorry to miss y'all, sir. They were in the girl who I rode his car. They were not in my pocket.
Okay, what did you do wrong by committing burglary? You admitted to burglary of a habitation.
I signed on it because I was told to take the plea deal. That's the only reason. But I never.
Wait a second. Say that again?
I was told to take the plea deal by my attorney.
That's all you did? You weren't responsible for the burglary, really?
Well, sir, I was responsible for riding there with her. I didn't. I mean, I'm taking responsibility by being on probation, but
Oh, what a tangled web we weave. When
I'll
first
just drive
we
her into probation. She
act
was
to
good.
deceive.
Yes, sir.
I think you've made a big mess. You pled guilty to burglary of habitation,
Yes, sir.
but you're saying today that you're not guilty of burglary of habitation.
I didn't know you found it.
Well, you just accepted you just made a plea.
I was told I was ready to do that or face 5 years, 10 years, however long it was at the time. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I fought it for 4 years, and that's what the attorney told me was my best bet action, best course of action. So I can not have to go to prison.
Here. Over here.
Sir.
I highlighted the yellow portion. That's the plea papers you signed on the burglary back. Read the highlighted part at the top out loud. So everybody.
Guilty of the offense and the lesser included offense is charged.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Guilty of the offense and the lesser included offense is charged against me in the case. I swear that all foregoing as well, the testimony I gave is the truth.
Oh, wait, say that last sentence
I
again.
swear that all the foregoing as well as the testimony I gave it is the truth.
You just committed perjury, didn't you? Because you said you weren't guilty of the crime. You just signed the papers. But there you are swearing under oath that you're guilty of that crime and all lesser included offenses. Which lie are you going to tell? The one you just told me or the one under oath? You can't live with both of them. You boxed yourself in. Shame on you. All you have to do is be honest. You can't even do that. You need to pay it. To the very end, you're not lying and deceive. To the very end. You shouldn't do that when you're under oath. That's a crime. Plus, you tried to deceive all of us, which nobody likes. But you got what you wanted. You got your probation, although you're kind of stuck now because you swore under oath that you committed these crimes and you're looking at me and saying, I didn't do it. I just signed them because it was convenient. No.
The thing that should be done is that I was not his attorney.
I know you weren't. You wouldn't have done that. You would have, I know how. You ought to be over here, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is where the game's being played.
Yes, sir.
You can't even focus. You're looking at up to 20 years in prison and you're looking out into the crowd. What is that? Who's your fans? What?
I think his mother's.
My wife.
I don't think, did they get you to lie? When you,
No, sir.
they didn't? But they tried to get you to do the right thing. Well, that's why God invented paperwork for all of this, so that we could walk it through and see what the trail is honestly, not the bogus trail that people like you try to invent to try to deceive the court. All right. Anybody else want to add anything?
Nothing further from the state judge.
Nothing from the defense.
No. Here's what the court's going to do, Mr. Nelson, in 22-39759. In this motion to revoke probation, you have pleaded true to allegations 1 and 2, failing to report to the probation office as directed for April and May in violation of your probation order, and 2, failing to submit to alcohol and drug screening on 1, 2, 3, 4 different occasions, April and May, when you failed to report. And those are violations of conditions 4 and 5 of your deferred or unadjudicated probation order. I find This motion should be granted by a preponderance of the evidence or greater, and your deferred or unadjudicated probation is hereby revoked. Earlier in this case, you pleaded guilty voluntarily. You were mentally competent to do so. You understood the consequences of pleading guilty. There was sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea from State's Exhibit 1 admitted in this hearing, of your plea hearing, to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt at that time, even though we deferred all finding of guilt. Now your probation is revoked. You are hereby found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of this burglary of a habitation of a poor invalid elderly man's home, of which his medication was found on you at the time you were arrested from inside his house. And you were found guilty of this terrible crime, a second-degree felony, a burglary of someone's home. You are hereby sentenced to confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 6 years. You will be given credit for all time you have served in accordance with this case. That's what we call justice.
I have to see that.
All right. Hey, James, you had something else, right?
No, I think that was all I had this afternoon.
Audwin, Lucretia, Jackson? Where's Audwin? He's gone?